live.
As the clock strikes 7, the vibes alive. Inner circles here, where voices thrive. Turn on your screens, let the magic unfold.
I got company, so hopefully we won't be able to hear them. You gotta stick to a strict hour. Y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, we're live already. You can hear my background, folks?
No, we're just hearing you.
Okay, that's good. I don't know where my headphones for this computer are.
In a circle podcast where hearts unite, sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home. With laughter and love, we break down the walls. No topics too tough, just heed the calls. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. So join the conversation, let's set the tone. In a circle podcast where love is well known. In a circle podcast where hearts unite, sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone.
Okay, welcome, folks. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our audience out there. Thanks for joining us tonight, wherever you're watching us from. Thanks for support, and we appreciate you supporting Inner Cycle Podcast over the years, over the months, things like that. So tonight's topic is managing holiday stress, balancing finances, family, and festivities. Christmas was just yesterday, and New Year is coming up. We got a good panelist here to go through this tonight. The holiday season is a time of joy, right? It's like celebration and things like that. But then also it's like togetherness. But for many people, something can be really, really stressful. Juggling family, juggling finances. The pressure to get gifts, things like that. All of those things. How do you balance those priorities? And tonight we're going to be diving into that, discussing that. Finding ways to see how best we can all, uh, the panelists that will discuss tonight, how we can try to balance those priorities and make sure it's like it should not be a time of immense stress, and things like that, right? As I said yesterday, like we said on Tuesday, right? Like the commercialization of Christmas, it should focus on the true meaning, things like that. So tonight we're going to be diving into discussing managing those stress and how we can manage your priorities. So I'm your host, as usual, Abe Kamara, and I will go around the room and introduce our panelists. And Mel.
Good evening, everybody. This is Melvin Landozia here tonight. What a great topic. Kind of resonate with us as it relates to the time of the year, the festive season as we celebrate, and also kind of focusing on budgeting. So hopefully you guys are here to participate tonight. Just get involved. We don't know it all. The little we know, we're going to share with you guys. Your participation will kind of enable us to just elaborate more on things you can put in. So let's get involved and have fun.
Yeah, Miss B.
Good evening, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, fabulous. It's your girl, Miss B. Excited to be here tonight to bring you what we do each and every Thursday night. Great conversation. So please join us.
Okay, folks, thank you to our panelists. Again, as Mel said, you can comment, participate, maybe you have ideas that we don't have, that our panelists don't have. So if you have ideas, you have things that you can share, with others, we would greatly appreciate that. You can also call our number 952-594-5154. Again, the topic tonight is managing holiday stress, balancing finances, family, and all of the festivities. So, Mel, why do you think the holiday season is such a stressful time for many people?
As true as it sound, it should be an enjoyable time of the year, but it comes
Yeah,
with a lot of stress. So
yeah.
balancing those stress can be challenging. And we are
Mm,
here tonight to just focus on things that will help you, tips that we kind of learn personally, we've practiced over
mm,
time that have helped us. It might not
mm,
be best for you, but we'll dive into it. And I think, having the right strategy, applying the right strategy, doing those little things can kind of help you manage, not make holidays stressful, but more enjoyable and more family time. And I'll dive into that more. If you mentioned that it's
mhm.
stressful, and we have experienced it, especially for us, mainly for us African immigrants that have extended family overseas that kind of
Okay.
heavily rely on us for their support. So those pieces, and here in America with family members looking up to us to ensure we create that environment to celebrate and make sure those things, the kind of one we provide those. So it's challenging, but I'll dive into strategies that I personally, few people I know taught me. Most
Mhm.
of my Caucasian friend kind of showed me, talk to
Mhm.
me about, to kind of let our audience know. I know a lot of us Africans might not see it from that angle, but yeah, that's the truth. So we'll dive into those as we progress tonight.
So as an immigrant, and what you're saying here, right? There's it's a twofold pressure. It's pressure from family back home, and then pressure here with friends and family here, right? Here you got to focus on
Yeah.
gift giving. Down there, you got to maybe send money back home, for feed, for folks to put food on the table. So you're talking about twofold pressure, right? Pressure from back home and pressure from here.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. I mean, Ib, uh, for us, like I said, immigrant,
Hmm.
we immigrated here on different means. People come here on resettlement. Some of us came here on DV. A lot of Africans, and I'm one of those. And we left a bunch of our family members back home. It's hard to kind of play a blind eye to them, especially if you're someone who has lived there and see how things are. You can't. It's knowing that you're working and making that small little money. You want to extend your hand, knowing that you left people back there suffering. So, and yet you got to balance that out, knowing you got family here, you have things you need to do, you got bills you got to pay. Then the festive season, Christmas and
Yeah,
New Year around, puts
yeah,
that challenge on you. So it's twofold, like you
yeah.
just put it.
Okay, okay. Like so, Miss B, right? A time that should be a joyous, festive season. Why is it stressful for so many people?
It's expensive.
Hmm.
Of all the holidays we think about in this country, if you really think about it, the economy functions on holiday every month, I believe.
Hmm.
Month has a holiday in America. And so, but the month of November going into December is very, very expensive. Christmas is the most expensive holiday. The idea that this Christmas, so Black Friday, the whole idea of Black Friday is to put businesses back in the black. Like if businesses were not doing well throughout the year, is to get, if they were in the red, it was to put them back in the black, meaning that they were showing profit instead of showing losses. And so then you get into Christmas, is like it's promoted even more heavily to make sure that people can end the year successfully, businesses end the year successfully economically. And businesses was normally a lot of retail, right? But it's
Hmm.
not just retail. You're thinking restaurant. Every industry is benefiting from the fact that this holiday is so expensive. And my for me, I'm harping on the expensiveness because yes, I do. My heart is warm and fuzzy, and I want to do all these great things for people and buy all these great gifts. But it's very stressful because our credit card bills are not on pause. Our mortgages and rent, nobody got a pass this month on those, and they were not on pause. So that's why it's very expensive to me. It's one of the most expensive holidays. Are you hearing me good, guys?
Yes. You
Yeah,
sound you're very clear.
yeah, very
Yeah,
clear. But there's an echo, and then we can work on that a little bit. There's an echo.
it's still
Yeah,
an
we can hear
echo.
you. Yeah, you good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's very expensive, and I don't like the expensiveness. So I've already been thinking about some strategies that I can put in place to minimize my stress level that happens due to the stress level that happens due to the financial piece of this holiday.
So from your vantage point, then the reason why it's so stressful is because it's so expensive. I mean, it's putting so much financial pressure on families, on folks. So that's why it's so stressful, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
If it was
Uh,
just us getting together as a family, oh, we can do that every day. Have food, we can do that easily.
mhm. Is there, Mel? Is there like a personal story you can share that make the holiday so stressful for you?
Yeah. Um, Personal story, a lot of them.
Mhm. Just one
Well,
of them.
right now, you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
all of the decorations and
yeah,
the PJs and family people coming over. You have to buy food and have drinks and make sure you give gifts to family
yeah. Hmm.
members. And
Hmm.
nowadays, even you try to package something that you think you can give, you give it to somebody they're expecting something more than
Hmm.
what you anticipate giving them. So all of those things kind of resort to that stress piece of it. You don't want to give somebody a gift and they don't appreciate it at the end of the day, right? You want to make
Hmm.
sure the total you give into the person, they are happy with what you give them. And they satisfied with it. And now, like I said, the Christmas is kind of program. Then it's just spoke to that. Is designed just for money making. The holidays, they pour these things out there glittering and they say they got discount, but you look at it deeply into it, you're not really getting any discount. You're paying the actual price. If not, you're even paying the real money. So going out there and buying those things, right? Some of us
Hmm.
that have family,
Hmm.
siblings kind of looking up to you, kids looking up to you,
Hmm.
cousin, nephew, and everybody looking up to you to get them something. So now the child will be like, this Christmas I want something like Jordan. They tell you what they want, right?
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
want to meet that demand. So those are the challenges that comes with the holiday.
yeah,
Family members back home as well is another piece, right? You
yeah.
got, let's say, you from a very large family, like for me,
Hmm.
where you got vast majority of the people back home, and
Hmm.
maybe 20% of that number here or 10% of that number here. Everybody kind of looking up to the small portion of people here, and
Hmm.
it entails you providing food, it
Hmm.
entails you sending them money and
Yeah.
giving them things. So those are the stress that come with it personally from my vantage point that I've observed and I've experienced over time.
Okay. Denise, I know you mentioned the financial piece. I wanted to know really, really stress you out because things are so expensive. Is it advisable then for folks, right, going through the holiday season, or maybe, to create a budget, realistic budget?
What budget you would create, because what happens, and I think it is, that's another tip that I could use for next year,
Okay.
is just these. And I told my husband that I'm like, if we decide the maximum we're gonna spend is 500, it doesn't matter if they give you a $3,000 list of items. If
Hmm.
we're saying this is how much we're gonna spend on each child, and
Hmm.
then it shouldn't matter the list, the Christmas list that the child has, right? And for me, I'm thinking, how about we just get your list, and throughout the year we buy these things, because there's other. If I'm buying these things throughout the year, I don't wait for Christmas. Then maybe Christmas you just say, you know what, give me 2 items,
Hmm.
and that's it, right?
Yeah.
We just have to be more creative, because the idea that everything you want, you wait till the end of the year for me to buy it, that's very stressful on
Okay.
both the
Yeah.
child and me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like so as I was mentioned on the show on Tuesday about the commercialization of Christmas, where I did share a personal story that in a Kamara household this year that could take a break. There's no decoration. I mean, the kids put a huge Christmas list together. They said that like since September, they were disappointed when we said right that we could not fulfill that, not that we couldn't afford it, but just was taking a break because to your point, right? There are a lot of things you can do throughout the year that is more meaningful, right? That can provide a lot of, experiences. For me, I love life experiences, traveling, giving them things that will teach them, lifelong lessons instead of just, saying, hey, put a list together, wait for December, to buy everything. But to your point, as someone whose background is in finance, I think what can help most family or what should help most family is like putting a realistic budget together, right? It's like, hey, if your budget is 500, make that and work within that budget. It doesn't matter how many, whether it's a 5,000 or 6,000 list. So your point is very, very valid. I think that's a great, great tip, for a lot of folks that don't do it because sometimes, as Mel mentioned, right, it's like there's the pressure from back home, the pressure from here. to fulfill all of these things. So I think that is very, very important. But the other thing, man, what are some low cost creative ideas, right, for folks out there? Like, you know what I mean? It's like during the holiday season. What are some like low cost creative ideas that can maybe like will help to like provide the gifts that maybe your friends and family needs, right? Do you have any?
Well, and another piece. I'm glad you guys mentioned budgeting because that's
Hmm. Hmm.
one of the strategies and one of the tips I have here. And
Hmm.
budgeting entails in a lot of way. Budgeting, planning what you want to spend over the course of the year.
Hmm.
When the year starting, be like this time of the year is coming out, right? I gotta pull maybe $20, $50 aside for this. So then when the time comes, I'm not
Hmm.
already put against the wall to be like, yes, I don't have the money, but I got to squeeze myself in. But you have already planned. That's a
Hmm.
great piece. And then the prioritizing spending. That's another piece. How much you're going to spend, focusing on that amount you're going to spend and not going beyond that. Another piece, like you mentioned, right, to limit
Hmm.
spending. They got this thing people do, especially our Caucasian friends. They do a
Hmm.
lot. They call it Secret Santa. You don't
Hmm.
have to give everybody gifts, right?
Hmm.
You a family, not a household, but a family can decide to be like, you know what? I'm giving this to the person. You kind of pick. Let's say we have 20 people, for example, in a family. I would buy a gift for one of the person in the family, the other person will buy a gift for another person in the family, right? That way, you are not buying gift for everybody, but at least we know at the end of the day,
Hmm.
somebody is getting something for someone, and that is appreciated. Is another way of reducing your spending. But if you think
Yes.
about it, you want to just spend money on 20 people, my brother. It's a lot of money buying gift for 20 individual. It could be
Hmm.
$20 you're spending out there times out by 20. That's a lot of money. But if I would buy a gift for one person, that can be
Hmm.
even meaningful and impactful to that person, where I can go and spend even more than $20, something they will appreciate. But
Hmm.
it's just one person, and the other person getting it from someone else. So Secret
Hmm.
Santa, and doing those things as a family, collaboratively, where
So,
you guys all agree, it
yeah.
limits you from not limit, but put you in a position to not spend a lot of money like
Yeah.
other of some of us do in our community.
Yeah, I think Dennis Amy here is buttressing your point that you brought up earlier. Is like buying your kids gifts, the things they like, or the things they think they might need right throughout the year. It kind of just reduces that stress when the time comes, when December comes. I don't think they might focus on that a lot. Or they already have the things that they might need, right, and things like that. So thanks for bringing that up. But Mel, yeah, that's a good point. Are there any like specific tools, or like is there any specific tools? Is there any like special things that you do to manage your spending, Miss B? Do you know how that is?
Like this year, we decided we're not going to travel because we normally travel for the holidays, so that
Okay.
makes it even more um cumbersome.
Mm-hmm.
But what I realized strategically with traveling, I got
Hmm.
rid of the trees and it got, all the different things you do to the house.
Yeah.
And then it got rid of the long list because then I could say the trip was a
Okay.
part of the gift too, right?
Okay.
So sometimes that helps. Even if you want to just do like a staycation and do
Okay.
like Great Wolf Lodge or something,
Okay.
that is a
Yeah.
big event,
Yeah.
it'll take away from the gift buying. So if you spend $500 the whole family at Great Wolf Lodge,
Yeah.
that lessens your pocket hopefully on spending $500 on one kid
Hmm.
of buying gifts. So those are some of the strategies I've employed over the year that has helped. And I think because we didn't travel this year, to be honest, this Christmas we spent the most.
Okay.
So
So
we'll
you,
probably go back to traveling again.
so you take traveling kind of reduces the financial pressure, the financial, but the tickets can also be expensive though, and so it's like and navigating the airport, right? Or maybe if you're traveling by air or even by road, right?
No,
A lot of people be traveling.
no, but the reality is that less people travel during the actual holiday. You
Ah,
would think a lot of people are traveling, but the tickets are actually cheaper.
okay.
Yes, I know. Try and see. So you'll
Let me
get,
see
yes.
that.
Okay.
Yes, because
But
less people are traveling. Unfortunately, you think like it's going to be more busy,
mhm,
but it's not. Like, so for instance, if you travel on the actual Christmas day, because Christmas you're just showing up to give gifts, it's
yeah.
way lot. It's a way lot cheaper. So if you would have left today, Wednesday, to
Mhm.
Saturday, your
Mm-hmm.
trip would have been a whole lot cheaper. Even Wednesday to Sunday, you're talking like one something, 136, 163 round trip.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that dinner in Philadelphia or in Houston is at 6 p.m., you can leave from here by 8 by 8 and get there, and still meet the
Yeah.
family function and
And
involved
still
in
be
those.
there on
Yeah,
time.
okay,
Yes,
okay,
because not a
okay,
lot of people travel on the actual
okay.
day.
You know. I mean, that's a great segue, right? So, Mel, I mean, it's not only like I know we have focused on the money aspect, the financial aspect a little bit, right? But what about the family challenges, right? Especially like there's this culture here in America where like it's family get together, right? Sometimes, like as you mentioned, I think on the show on Monday, right? It's like their family might decide to host this year, right? And so it's like that's just that pressure that's on them as well. How do you navigate that? Is how do you think folks can navigate that aspect of it?
So, so yeah, another piece you can do is and great that you brought that up because it's one of my tip here. Family
Mm-hmm.
involvement, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's
yeah,
say we have a family of 20. I'll keep that number tonight just as
mhm,
emphasis.
yeah,
20 people in a family, and you decide to have this at one of the family members' house. Another way
mhm,
you can do is get the family involved, right? You work
mhm,
together, make sure they know these plans and make sure these are things you're planning to do, and
mhm,
then share responsibilities, right?
mhm,
We
mhm,
plan to do this extra. The other family, you bring drinks, and you
mhm,
bring in, food. The other family
mhm,
bring in gift, or
yeah,
just make sure you tax people, create that awareness, and make sure everyone is involved and participate in the get together. So if we plan as family, we're doing it to Melvin's house this year. Basically, the rest of the family member, hey, we're doing this on so and so day.
mhm,
And this is what we want to do. What you guys think, how you guys think we can tackle it, right? Planning,
yeah,
getting that family members involved, make sure they are heard too, and make sure they participate in doing that. That way, you who hosting it, you are not
mhm,
taking on the entire financial burden, right?
mhm,
The other
mhm,
person bringing food, the other person bringing drink. That's finances that you're not going to spend as someone else is spending, but bringing together for us to have fun. So family involvement is important as well.
okay. So like let me push that further though. Even though like is it important though? Even though the family is collectively doing it, but is it also important to maybe set a budget to see? Okay, you know what? This family gathering, how much it's going to cost, right? Because sometimes it gets overly burdensome.
Yes, you're right. So as we kind of talk about budgeting and family coming together here, budget is key.
Mhm,
How much we want to spend, what we
mhm,
want to do, you
mhm,
know, it is that planning piece. And planning, you can plan without taking finances into it, right? You plan
yeah.
by saying this is how much we want to spend, and that's how we're going to do it. And now you kind of tax people with responsibility on what to tackle and how to go about doing that. So having a budget or set budget will alleviate because if you don't have a budget as you go along without planning, things will start to
Mhm,
come in, right? Oh, we didn't
yeah.
plan for this one. Then now that will fall on you as the host. So,
Yeah.
budgeting, putting that plan together and showing everyone know what that is and they kind of involve themselves into it will help to in making sure that it's successful and creating that enjoyment and family time and just having fun and think, reflecting on the holiday, how family was successful. But without doing that, it creates the stress we talk about, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
Okay. Yeah, Miss B is like as a host, right? It's someone, a family member that's hosting, right? How can they manage? Because sometimes a lot of pressure, right? You gotta get your house ready. You gotta make sure everything is in place. You gotta decide when people should start arriving, when food should start coming. That pressure, that whole pressure of it, right? As a host, how do you kind of manage that?
For me, I think I already haven't initiated myself as not the cook in the family. I'm
Okay.
the person
So
that
you,
buys liquor, and so
so
I'm
you,
already making it more affordable for me.
so you had never do. Have you ever been a host?
I host. I can always
Okay.
be the host. I don't mind my house being the place to
Uh-huh.
gather.
Yeah.
But even when I'm the host, I
Uh-huh.
know the family just knows I'm not the one going to be cooking.
Okay, so so that
I,
pressure, so the pressure
that
of
pressure,
cooking goes away. The pressure of
yes, that
cooking goes
pressure,
away. That
yeah.
that whole
But
problem. Now,
I did
mm,
step up my game this year.
mhm,
But then even when I hosted, I still limited the number of people that
mm,
came over, right? We
mhm,
were just a number of like probably 10 of us, right, that came over intentionally because if you think about it, we just did this 30 days ago for
mhm,
Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving
yeah,
was November 26th,
yeah,
November 27th,
mhm,
and now Christmas is December 25th. So basically, almost less than 30 days in between both holidays. And we just did all this eating and buying food and stuff, right? So
Yeah.
back to what Melvin said, it's like do it potluck style, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I host, I did it potluck style. I don't drink, but my liquor cabinet still is well stocked. So because for
Mm-hmm.
this very reason. So if
Okay.
I end up hosting either Thanksgiving or Christmas, the liquor is already there. So I don't
Okay.
have to go and buy it again, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Mel. That potluck style, give somebody different tasks. You buy the silverware, you buy liquor, you buy pop, you buy ice. And
Mm-hmm.
it does make it more affordable. For me, I'm always making it affordable because I'm always a liquor person.
So you are volunteer your entire family that for you, whatever family function, you can only provide liquor, no food.
Yes. No food.
Okay.
And
Now,
they are
we
okay with it.
okay. Now, we I mean you're talking about like a family size for Tony, right? It's over a large family, right? Is there like do you set boundaries with your family right here, man? I mean during the holiday
It's
season, this whole yeah, do this whole focus on, I mean, do you draw boundaries? Do you set boundaries?
it's hard. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
to do that because of where
Why?
we come from, right? Here's
Why do
why.
you think so? Yeah,
I
okay.
can set my boundaries. Say I want just 10 people to come over, but
Mm-hmm.
once you have one of the old family person that got multiple friends, and they'll be like, hey,
Yeah,
my sister or my brother is having something to his house or to a house. Let's
yeah,
go there. They'll come with people, so
uh-huh,
it's hard to set that
yeah.
boundaries, and you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to kind of seem mean when somebody come with family and be like, this is just for 10 people, and the additional person that is not invited, you're not coming in. I
Okay.
mean, you put yourself out there like that. So that's the challenge that come with it. But however, what we can do in that case, right? Let's
Mm-hmm.
say 20
Mm-hmm.
people, if we're planning for 20 people, we increase the number of food or drinks that we will provide. So 20 people will
Mm-hmm.
carry up to maybe do 25 or
Mm-hmm.
25, 30, right? So that we are not at a point where in just within 1 hour or 2 hours of having fun and everything kind of gone. And it's challenging. Where we're from, Abe, I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah,
You can try to do RSVP or what have you, but you see a
yeah,
lot more people coming because that's how we are oriented, right?
yeah, yeah.
Somebody can be having something here today. Even if I'm not invited, once I just want to leave from my house and I hear they're having something to so and so person's house and I know this
Mhm.
person, I'm going
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it has I have done that before where I was living by myself and I was
Okay.
bored. I
Yeah.
heard somebody was having something to their house and I know this
Yeah.
person. And I went
Okay.
there. I went to the place to chill because I
Yeah.
want to leave my house. So there are a lot of people that would do that as well. So if
Yeah.
you budgeting, I kind of encourage you to not just budget with the exact number of people you have, 10 people.
Mhm.
You do a little bit of over budgeting so then it would not be like just that exact number of people. Yeah,
Mhm.
so it's a challenging piece to budget for a specific number of people.
Yeah, and there's that phenomenon though in it. I think it's not only limited to our culture, right? Or maybe we Africans, right? It's that phenomenon, right? It's like I think everywhere, even the Caucasian does it, right? If on a maybe a Thanksgiving or Christmas, right? If you call to wish someone happy, Merry Christmas, the first thing asks you, what are you doing? Are you,
Yeah,
you can come over if you don't have anything to do, right? You can join
right.
us, right? So I mean, all of those things, right? Even though sometimes they might have had you in their plans, but now that you call them the first question that comes up, hey, what are you doing? If you're not doing anything, you can come over, and say that. So yeah, so that's a great piece that you raised there, Mel. Um, Miss B, how can people prioritize their time, and energy during the holiday seasons?
Well, for me, I'm lucky because I got 2 weeks paid off, and so it gave
Okay.
me time to really do a lot of the planning. That's fun. First of all, that's the reason why I even volunteered to host because I knew I was gonna have time.
Okay. Okay.
So be prioritize the fact that you don't have time, and it's okay, folks. Don't be made to feel ashamed or embarrassed or forced to do things. Do things that you know you are able to do, right? Don't be
Mm-hmm.
made to host if you know you don't have the time, because even that puts stress on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had my groceries. I put my list down. I knew what day I was going to go to the store. I knew what I was going to prep the night before. And I knew how long it was going to fix the dinner that I was going to do. And
Mm-hmm.
so I knew what time to expect guests, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So plan all of that in advance if you are going to be the one hosting.
Okay.
Tap into other people. You never know what other, and people like for you to ask them for help, believe it or not, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't be afraid to tap into other people, right? And it's no good for you to be exhausted doing your own event, right? So
Mm-hmm.
prioritizing your time wisely, it calls you not to be exhausted. It's okay to cook some things the night before, like the greens got cooked the night before, bake the cake the night before, and then that way you can dress it up the day of. You can boil your potatoes the night before. You finish up your potato salad the day of, because
Mm-hmm.
all of this thing will allow you to not be so exhausted because you spent all day cooking for and getting ready for your guests. And by the time they come, you're tired. You can't even really entertain.
Yeah. So Mel, I know like, you talk about family size of 20. I know like there are a lot of kids, there are kids in there, so that during Christmas, right, for the Christmas Day celebration, if one of your family members is hosting, do you guys do the gift opening at the family member's house, or you make sure the kids open their gift first? Because man, that's a whole pressure by itself. It's like
It,
the
it
night before
definitely
Christmas.
It definitely is. So as the family kind of coming over, it doesn't mean presents
Yeah.
or gifts and things should be open at the host house. So
Okay.
each household, they already their parents or family already taking care of the kids. What should
Mm-hmm.
be given to the kids from
Mm-hmm.
their uncle or auntie or whatever relative outside of the household have already given their present to the house. So that should be done
Mm-hmm.
in your house. Coming together is just to create that experience, right? Make the day
Mm-hmm.
memorable.
Mm-hmm.
And making it memorable is just having that quality time, not to use that time to open presents. So if family decide to do that, that's what they decide to do. But for what I've observed over time is like
Mm-hmm.
if we are hosting or my older sister is hosting,
Mm-hmm.
present for my kids or for her kids already open at the house, or they do it the night before Christmas, the Christmas Eve, midnight, and
Yeah.
open the present and thing. And then the day is just for us to just create that, time and bond and play games and just have fun, just spend that time together so it can be memorable. I think that's how we do it. And it has been working for us since we started doing that.
Yeah, so to that point, though, right? Like, my godparents, right? Their tradition was that their Christmas stuff was on a Christmas Eve, right? So that was their tradition. The entire family come over. The gift will be open at the house, right? Like to your point, everybody have their family. So Christmas Day reserved for each individual family. But Christmas Eve is when everyone gather. To make sure that everyone opens, everyone bring gifts, right? The gifts is there under the tree, and then open it on Christmas Eve, so that Christmas Day folks can worry about each family can worry about like, oh, I mean, affairs and things like that. But I mean the other thing too, right, is I know you guys have young kids, right? I mean the whole issue about Santa, is like, do the kids have expectation, right, that hey, Santa is gonna show up tomorrow morning with some stuff? I mean, it's like, talk Miss B, you're nodding your head, go ahead.
So yeah, I think that's good when they have that Santa thing going on, because what happens is what you find is by 5, 6 a.m., the kids come open the gifts. They don't even need mommy and daddy to be up. And so
Mm-hmm.
that way all the gifts get open in the morning, which happened at my house. And by the time your guests come, there's just basically an empty tree. The lights is just there. They just get to see the empty tree, which it really does help for not causing some of that, confusion with the other kids that will come over that day to
Mm-hmm.
see how all these gifts, or one person got all these gifts, or what kind of gifts this person got.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, but the kids are gonna expect something on that day, no matter what you do, because of the tradition. It's so embedded in our culture, and they're gonna be expecting Santa to bring something. But I think you can minimize what that looks like by having some courageous conversations about how Santa has a budget. Santa has to give gifts to the whole wide world. There's 7 billion people in the world. And
Mm-hmm.
so this year, Sanities, can only afford to bring 2 gifts.
Okay.
So have that conversation prior to, so the kids are not too disappointed, but you have to have something under the tree.
What is it about Christmas though, right? That I think Titus raised this point. What is it about Christmas, about kids and Christmas so much, right? It's so like, I mean, there's this much expectation about gifts. What is it so much about Christmas, Mel?
Yeah, so we as parents and generation wise, we set that expectation, and the
Mm-hmm.
kids are aware of it. We let them know, so it
Mm-hmm.
creates that environment for them as we go along. So as
Mm-hmm.
Christmas approaches, they expect certain things to happen, right? They
Yeah,
expect
yeah.
to get gifts. they expect to
Mhm.
celebrate, they expect to spend time with family. And that
Mhm.
piece, like he mentioned, is why it's stressful. Because as a parent, if you have X amount of kids that have that expectation from you,
Mhm.
you have to do those things. You got to make sure the kids are pleased. You got to make sure they celebrate the time, because the reason for that, other parents are doing it for their kids. If you are not in a position to do it for your kids, it gets stressful for you as that parent who cannot afford to make sure
Mhm.
your kids are happy. But
Yeah.
let me tell you something, our kids don't know whether you have it or not. They want it, and that's how they
Yeah.
function. They're not
Yeah.
going to tell you, mommy got this X amount of money in the bank, so I'll spend small or I spend more. They
Yeah.
have conversations with their friends as they go to school. Oh, my dad is buying me this. And that
Mhm.
expectation is set for you as a parent to make
Mhm.
sure you please your child. And in terms, it makes them happy. And you want to make sure your kids are happy always. So that's why it's stressful. Now,
Mhm.
traditionally,
Yeah.
this is how it has been, and the kids are oriented over time into those expectation.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So the other thing, though, right? I know. I'm glad you brought that up, though. But why, if you said no, as I said, in my household this year it was straight out no, right? How do you navigate that? How do you
Let
navigate?
me.
What if you
I
say
will
no? I
ask
know
you
the
a
tension is
question.
there. I know the tension is there,
I
right?
will
The
ask you a
tension.
question back. If
Yeah.
How was it when you said that? What was it? What was the reception?
Yeah.
Well,
How
it's
did that
like,
work out?
well, it's like they are still mad, right? But I
Okay.
don't feel guilty, right? I don't feel guilty in a sense that I feel that, as Miss B mentioned earlier, throughout the year they have been getting things, right? They have been getting things that's more than Christmas, right? They have been getting life experiences, travel, it's like they have been getting things that they have requested, and then next year there's a lot of plans that I have for them, right? So I told them, so you know what? Christmas Day, Santa's not going to show up this year. They are mad, but I don't feel guilty. Sometimes it's that guilt we parents feel, right? Oh God, I feel
Yeah.
guilty, to your point, Mel, that hey, maybe like her or his friends are doing it where they are getting X amount of gifts, and this time they are all on social media, they are communicating, calling one another. So there's that added pressure, right? Their friends are getting something, for them they are not getting anything. There's no decoration, all those stuff. But I I, I didn't feel guilty this year by saying no,
Yeah.
because of
If
everything else I
as
have done for
And
them
I
and
think
and
you've helped some of us to be
yeah,
able to say no now next year.
yeah,
Yes. You've
as a
influenced and you've
thank
parent.
helped
you.
some of us to be able to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a parent, you set that expectation. You kind of decide
Mhm.
on how you want your family to go. I
Yeah.
mean, dealing with what comes after is something you will have to deal with. So, I mean,
No, no,
it's
that
a right
yeah.
approach. It's just how you think you're going to work out, and like you said, you've been doing a lot over the time, over the
Mhm.
past. I mean, since the year started. So the fact that you made it clear to them, I want to believe some kids can understand. They might not take it for that while. It'll just be that transitioning period. Be like, oh, I expected this, but it didn't happen. And after time, they're gonna come up. But it's the right of the parents to decide how they want to approach the situation.
Yeah. But
Especially these are
go
kids
ahead,
that
Mister.
just so y'all know, these are kids that just spent Thanksgiving in Vegas in a penthouse suite on the
Okay.
There
53rd
you go.
floor. So they are not lacking.
Yeah. So
Went to
okay.
Gordon Ramsay restaurant for burgers and fries, a two
Mhm.
hundred and something dollar plus bill.
Oh
So they are
man.
not
Wow.
lacking, and so
Yeah.
so
Okay, right. That's a great segue there. What are ways though, Miss B, if you can share, what are ways for holiday celebration to be more meaningful, right? Instead of just so busy and stressful. How can it be more meaningful? How can it create more meaning?
I do like the travel. I think travel is some of the best life lessons you can teach kids and some of the
Mm-hmm.
best experiences. I remember my daughter was 8 years old when I wanted to take her to Liberia to
Mm-hmm.
visit for the first time. And I was hesitant because the trip was supposed to happen in March and she was going to miss school. It was the teacher who said, please let her go.
Yeah.
Going to Africa, there's no amount of education is going to compare to a trip of going to Africa,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
it was till this day very rewarding to take my 8-year-old daughter to Liberia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was there for 2 weeks and it wasn't enough. She complains those 2 weeks, those 13 days the actual physical days that she spent in Liberia was not enough to this day. And
Uh-huh.
so, like parents, the ability to be able to create memories, those kids won't remember the Nintendos, they won't remember the Xbox,
Mm-hmm.
they won't remember the shoes. They really will remember the trips and
Mm-hmm.
when we went and who we went with and what we did when we was there. So
Mm-hmm.
invest in that. And no matter how mad they may be at the time, but investing in those things will really pay off in the long run. It's very educational, the things that they learn and they see and in the interaction that they have over the years by traveling.
Okay, Mel, I mean, what are some meaningful things that folks can do to make the holiday more meaningful, right? Instead of this busy stress, focusing on gift and all those things. What are some things folks can do just to make it more meaningful, more enjoyable as it's meant to be?
Yeah, so a few things here I would say mindful celebration entails three
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on experience, what she just
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, traveling, or family outing, right? Yeah, I can gather my family here, we go to a restaurant or go watch movie or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those things go a long way
Mm-hmm.
aside from just thinking about gifting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then creating like family activities. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
we decide to be home, play games, watch game together, do something together as family. That's one piece. And then also, practice gratitude, right? One of
Yeah.
the pieces that I think is very important. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Time
Yes.
to sit down and reflect all the things you are thankful for, things that have happened over the year, and little
Mm-hmm.
things you receive from people, right? Be appreciative of what it is. If it's a candy, it's not the present that is matter. It's just the thought of it. The fact that somebody can think of you and go to the store to buy you one piece of lip club and give it to you, that's a lot. And appreciating that as a whole. Then staying present. What do I mean by that? Just focusing on being there, being
Yeah. Yeah.
involved in these activities, making sure the kids are seeing you're doing these things together. You can
Mm-hmm.
celebrate having a family time and just be away from it. You're on your phone,
Yeah.
you kind of in isolation and the kids on their own. I think it creates that level of not being involved. Staying present
Mm-hmm.
is key. So those three I just named are very important as family to
Mm-hmm.
do. And those things go a long way aside from just thinking about what I can give my kids or my family members, gifting money and all those things. But these experiences can go a long way. Can
Okay.
make the day even enjoyable.
Okay. Well, folks, tonight we are discussing managing holiday stress, balancing finances, family, and the festivities. And, our panelists here really giving us some good tips on how to manage that stress, how to balance your finances, your family, and all of those festivities. Miss B, what role you think social media, right, is playing like in the stress, like in terms of the creating the stressfulness people feel, especially during this time, right? I'm talking about, as I mentioned on the show, on Tuesday, right? Like everyone yesterday, right? Matching pajamas, or most folks, you turn on social media, matching pajamas and things like that, So, what role is social media playing out of this, right? Is like, I mean, would these different things be going on? I mean, during the holiday season.
Oh, it's playing a major role. This year, I was intentionally tuned out from social media.
Okay.
I didn't really tune in. We did have the matching pajamas. It's just become a tradition now in
Okay.
our household. But
Okay.
I would recommend not to spend too much because you only wear it the one time. So this year we went to Walmart
Mm-hmm.
and we found the whole set and some footies for
Mm-hmm.
14.98 a piece. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that was a pretty good price, right?
Mm-hmm.
For some matching pajamas. So again, find something that you can make a tradition, but make it more affordable and not to spend too much money. But yeah, social media is very influential. So stay off of it during
Mm-hmm.
the holidays, to be honest, to give yourself a break. So that you don't feel like you're trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, people put a lot of things on social media that is not reality to really how they're really living and what
Mm-hmm.
they can afford.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about affordability a lot in our household. Like, what do we feel is affordable? We
Yeah.
have people not even making six figures and living as if they're making $1 million. They're netting $1 million a year. So
Okay.
I don't try to keep up with the Joneses. I really want to bring it back home and look at what's affordable to me and
Mm-hmm.
affordable to my family, and not necessarily what everybody is publicizing as the it thing to have or
Mm-hmm.
wear or be at.
Okay. With the whole pajamas thing, where did you get that tradition from? Was it from social media? Did your family just start out of the blue, or maybe from another family member?
I want to say we first started doing the pajamas thing probably 2020. I think social media really grew during the pandemic,
Okay.
and it was suggested on
Okay.
social media. Yeah, it
Okay.
was during the pandemic where we saw a lot more of people's home and culture and traditions,
Mm-hmm.
because we were all home. So
So,
yeah,
do you guys wear the pajamas early in the morning, or and then like just to take picture, or you keep it on the rest of the day?
we
Hey,
we actually we cooked, we prepared for the guests, and then we put our
uh,
pajamas on and received our guests in our matching pajamas.
oh, okay, okay. Mel, do
Yeah.
you? First of all, I'll ask two-part question here for you. What will you think? Right, the same question. What will you think social media has played in this, in like creating stress for most folks, right? I mean, during the holiday season. And do you do matching pajamas? Does your
Well, I
family do?
think that's a great
Go
question, Ib. It's a great question. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
social media have played a lot of role. Why?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Why do I think so? Right? You see your friends celebrating. You see them wearing pajama, like you mentioned. If
Yeah,
they don't wear pajama, you see them kind of having fun, having food and drinks, and
yeah,
just
yeah,
partying.
yeah.
That tends to kind of play on you a little bit as a person. Oh, my friends doing this. I'll try to incorporate this into my Christmas next year. And that's
Mm-hmm,
how that stress is dropped. The fact that
yeah.
the information is just accessible just by the tap of the finger. Right there, you see it, right? And then
Mm-hmm,
it's the piece that dropped the whole narrative of the script. However, as it relates
mm-hmm,
to the pajama, this started
mm-hmm.
way back. I was kind of researching on it a few nights ago. It started
Okay,
back in 1957, but it just got
okay.
popular recently. And
Yeah.
the reason
Uh-huh.
behind that, these are just studies that I kind of look up. It's
Yeah.
just the department stores that actually started this. They
Okay.
have these pajamas and things that were not being sold and things, and they design a strategy around the
Yeah.
season time to put it out there. And that family
Mhm.
just stuck in and started flying with it. So
Okay.
think about it. Think about how department stores are benefiting from the sale of pajamas during the holiday season. The number
Yeah.
of families that buy matching pajamas. If you have a family of 2 or 3 that wear pajama, right? I'm not saying it's a
Mhm.
bad thing. They are kind of incorporated into just making the time for family and celebrating, but they are financial piece
Mhm.
that benefit these department stores, which is why they did that the first time it started back in 1957. However,
Mhm.
for me, Christmas is one of those times and holiday for me that I kind of look forward to seeing. And it's not
Mhm.
just about I'm not just going to
Mhm.
limit it about family. It's
Mhm.
about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ as Christians. So that time should be a time just prioritizing that piece, Jesus Christ, and making sure your kids understand what that is, because that
Mhm.
tradition is being lost along the way. We're not talking
Mhm.
about that more. We're not talking about what Christmas is and the importance
Mhm.
of it. Pajama
Mhm.
is so important, but but
Mhm.
but again, what is the foundation? What is the primary reason for Christmas? Those things should be talked about more within a family, and also
Mhm.
just bringing that togetherness among the family. So yeah,
Mhm.
pajama, I don't mind wearing it. If my family decide to wear, I would jump in there and just just have fun, just for the fun of it.
Okay. Have you done it or not yet?
I have back in the days, like way back. I have. I think it was one time, but
Okay.
back then I was talking to a girl who was in Chicago, and her family
Oh.
decided to have this get
Okay.
together, and we
Okay.
kind of traveled to the family house, and I was
Uh,
forced to kind of wear the pajama. I wore it, and then I saw myself in the pajama. I saw the picture. I was like, oh my god, wow, this is my first time wearing this. Okay, I'll see how that goes. But again, right? It was a good
mhm.
time we had. I
Mhm.
appreciate the time with the family. We had quality time. We conversation. I got to know a lot of them, and we
Mhm.
kind of connected on in a way, just by
Mhm.
spending time together. So I wouldn't mind doing that piece, but I will also make sure my family know the importance of Christmas.
Okay. So, folks, tonight we are discussing managing holiday stress or balancing finances, family, and festivities. We'll go over for the next 12 minutes here, and then we'll wrap it up and we'll wrap things up. But Miss B, when you do your pajama, do you post it on social media, or do you send your family greetings in your matching pajama when you take your photos? like you see on social media, or most folks do?
Do I see people with
No, no, no. Do
pictures?
you post yours on
I
social
didn't
media?
post. I don't think I've
No,
ever posted.
you don't post yours.
I don't think I've ever
So you
posted.
just
No.
so you just get in your matching pajama, take your photo, and just leave it, and just why? It's a as a memory for your family, or what? Because I think it's meant to be shown, isn't it?
As a memory for my family, I think. Okay, I posted a little. I posted one picture of us on my Snapchat last night. I did,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
normally, I don't really post much of my
Mm-hmm.
family
Okay.
on Facebook. I'm a Snapchat person.
Okay.
Um,
So do you
and
do you post it on Snapchat then?
yeah, I did post a little one picture of us last night on Snapchat. I did.
Okay. In your matching pajamas.
Yes, in our matching pajamas.
Okay, that's good. But so as we try to wrap this up here, right? How can folks? I think Mary, you mentioned it. How can folks shift their mindset, right? It's like I think a winner says talking instead of just all of these commercial things that just doing out, right? The matching pajamas. Oh, you got to get this new iPhone, or you got to get this year, or this holiday season it is already had. How can folks, right, try to shift their mindset, maybe to get back to the whole intention and meaning of Christmas? Mel.
Well, it's about us family prioritizing to make sure kids are aware of the importance of Christmas, and then I think that is lost over time. It has gotten, it's kind of disappearing gradually. The importance of Christmas, we know as Christians, right? It's customary. It's Jesus's birthday. It's a time set aside for family to come together and
Mm-hmm.
reference God, and thank Him for the sacrifice He made for us, and basically just bringing that together. The family is just is the smallest unit in society, but very
Mhm,
powerful, very important, right?
mhm,
Teens,
mhm,
they needs to teach your daughter here, she will grow up and knowing that, right? And those who kind
mhm,
of stick with her. If we are not practicing these things in a family,
mhm,
where else can they learn that? Where you teach the tradition, you make them understand the importance of Christmas. So it first starts from the home, and then sometimes too, I know a lot of these institutions try to avoid trying to just focus on specific religion, which
mhm,
I don't really see it as something that we should focus on more, but focusing on the family because we have that ability to train our kids and bring our family all that we want them to kind of be. So
mhm,
emphasizing on that, that this day is a day set aside, is the Lord's day, is the day that Jesus was born, and we Christians, that's what we believe and we celebrate it because Jesus Christ came on earth and he died. This is his birthday, so he saved us and he saved humankind and he kind of did a lot of good things. So emphasizing those importance and making
mhm,
sure that is not lost. Because what I'm seeing over time is we're trying to omit even the name Christmas. Right now, people say Xmas. I don't know why that is, but you see, as we go gradually, it tend to just die down. But it
mhm.
starts with us as families, as parents, to emphasize the importance of Christmas and make sure our family understand, especially when you're from a Christian family.
Okay,
That's
Miss
how
B,
that's how that's how we'll bring that tradition back and make sure people understand what the day is all about.
Miss B, mindset shift. How can we change this mindset? How can we shift the mindset?
I mean, without before hearing what you said, without even hearing what you said, I was coming into the holiday thinking like, how do we move away from all this commercialization of the holiday? How do
Mm-hmm,
we move away from spending all this money or being forced to spend all this money when really it's just I see it as a time for people to rest
mm-hmm,
if you can, and
mm-hmm,
really to spend time with your family, not to take anything away from some of the Christian pieces that Mel said, very
mm-hmm,
important, but
mm-hmm,
then also the fact that it is a time for you to spend with your family. Some people use it as a time to do a retreat, to check in. If you're not a family, it's just you and a partner, husband
mm-hmm,
and wife, or boyfriend and girlfriend. It's a time to check in with each other. Like, what are our goals for next year? What are the things we want to achieve? Right? You
mm-hmm,
set yourself down, get your spreadsheets or whatever you want to use, and start to really have that critical conversation. Like
mm-hmm.
next week, after everything is said and done, my husband will be doing, and I will be doing a retreat as well, and see
Okay,
what are our family goals, our professional goals, our financial goals, right? So I
okay,
encourage folks to do that as well. But really make sure you take the time out to really be with your family, talk to your kids. I know parents, it gets busy all year. Maybe you don't have that good conversation. This is a
yeah,
time to catch up with them, talk to them, see what's going on with them, and let them know that it's about that family unit, like Mel has been saying.
Okay.
It's about this family unit, family spending time together, not about buying all these expensive gifts.
Okay. What's now that you brought that up, bro? Do you have any family tradition or practice that helps you and your family stay grounded, especially during the busy season?
For me, we
Yeah.
just love to travel. We
Okay. That's right.
travel.
Okay.
We travel a lot.
Is
Yeah,
that a
we're like,
tradition or practice? Does that help your family grounded? Does that help make you guys grounded and realize, hey man, this day or this season is so important, you know what I mean? But just to be chill, right? To stay grounded and realize what the time is about.
yeah, because my daughter hasn't spent too much time. She has her set homes that she go to visit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of been a way to keep us grounded. She doesn't go to too many people homes. She has like
Mm-hmm.
two other homes outside of her house that she visits, and that's that. And
Mm-hmm.
so even with the holidays, she's really been spending more time with us. She's 15. And,
Yeah.
you would think teenager doesn't really care to be around their parents, but she's
Mm-hmm.
been more spending more time at home with us,
Mm-hmm.
been cooking. Yesterday we always in the kitchen. Everybody had their thing. He made
Mm-hmm.
potato salad. She baked the cake.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody had their thing. We're in the kitchen and just been really spending more time talking. And so they love to go back and forth with each other, she and her dad, and make jokes and crack
Yeah.
jokes on each other.
Okay.
And I'm getting there too. I'm getting a thicker skin. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
those are our things we like to do.
Okay. Mel, is there any tradition or practice that helps your family stay grounded?
Well, like Miss B just said, I use the time of the year to sit down with my family, just spend quality time. Throughout the year is busy for us, the Zia household. We are busy people. I go to work from the morning, so now I come home 5, 6, going at 5, coming at 6 p.m. depending on my workload. So it has been busy throughout the year. So when the time comes where I have the break, right now my job is shut down. We
Okay.
resume work sometime in January, so I tend to spend more time home. If I had time, my family and I just go walk about at the mall, do some things. Not to spend money, but just getting out there and spending quality time together. We did that today, and we keep on doing that. Christmas Day, we were home. We just spend a lot of time together. For me personally, I love to travel. It's just that the past few years I haven't really been able to due to things that have happened. But
Mm-hmm.
around this time of the year, it's time I take my family out when I have the time. Just go somewhere, look at the beach, small, put your feet in the sand, and just live life because it's
Yeah.
important. It's important. That's how you bond yourself with your family and tend to create that memory for the kids. So that's what we do, and also we put God first in all we do. We prioritize the church. If they're having Christmas services, we kind of go to it. They're having Christmas activities. We spend our time there as well. So those are things we do in my house. I hope we
Mhm.
keep on doing that, and hopefully we can continue to prioritize that as well.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, folks, well, if you want to know my own family tradition, right, is that as you guys mentioned, and Matt especially brought that up. I mean, it's like this day is about the day is about Christ, right? Especially on Christmas Day, and I'm a Catholic, so I go to mass. My family and I will go to mass, right? So 1 hour mass, we'll go there, we'll come before we do anything, and things like that. So that's the tradition that keep us grounded, around here. We'll go there, listen to the word of God, and things like that, and then come back home and and do the day. So that's a tradition every Christmas that we do. But anyway, as we wrap this up, what message, what advice, what one piece of advice do you want to leave our listeners tonight? How to enjoy the holidays stress free. Mel, I'll start with you.
Thank you, Abe. Thank you, Miss B. Thank you, our audience here, for following us throughout. One thing I would say, we kind of started with it. Miss B started with it. Abe, you kind of emphasized with it. I think budgeting is key, right? We shouldn't just, overwork ourselves for this one day. It's one day. It's one day. Can spend all of your resources on, if not all, half of your resources just for this one day. We emphasize on experiences than just giving gifts, creating memories. So those things are important. But overall, budget for it as the year is about to end. You're about to start another year. What I do for me personally is just at the beginning of the year I put $20-$30 aside. Every time I take pay around this time because you
Mhm.
tend to spend a lot more. So early budgeting is important, and don't deviate from that. If you start to be consistent with it, And when things get tight, I know it's hard to do, especially when you working from paycheck to paycheck, but just stick with your plan. Find other means if things are tight, find other means to get that cash to take care of other things. Don't go into your little money you budget for this time of the year, and then when this time comes now, you start figuring it out. And that's those are things that can kind of drive the stress we keep mentioning. So budgeting
Okay.
is key.
Okay.
Creating memories and experiences with your family is also important. So I will end with that tonight, guys.
Okay. Ms. B, what's one piece of advice you want to leave our audience tonight on how to enjoy the holiday stress free?
I have to ditto what Melvin said. Thanks
Mm-hmm.
everyone. Thanks Mel. Thanks Abe for tonight and everybody that tuned in. But I have to ditto what he said. I'm a frugal person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't value spending money on superficial things, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest.
Mm-hmm.
I love to invest my money in properties, things that's going to give me a return on that investment. If I put 25 cents here, I want to yield at least $1 back,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I think the main thing that Mel has said is very important is let's start setting budgets.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start setting boundaries and limits to how much we're going to allow this holiday to take away our resources, right? As we tune in on Wednesday to talk about health and wealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
This holiday is not good for our health. It stresses
Mm-hmm.
us out and
Yeah.
it's not good for our wealth. How are we going to
Mm-hmm.
continue to grow wealth and continue to grow our finances if we spend so much money on this one day out of 365 days in the year? So
Mm-hmm.
let's do better,
Okay.
but
Well,
still
with
take
that,
time to enjoy this day with your family.
yeah, with that, folks, that
Together as
concludes
one,
the end of
we've
our show tonight. Thank
created a
you.
home.
It's been a great
So
discussion.
join
Thanks,
the
Mel, for
conversation,
providing your
let's
great
take
insight and
time.
your great tips. Miss B, as
This
always,
local
thank you for
podcast where
providing those
love
great
is
tips and
what
advice,
matters.
folks. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. It was a great conversation tonight. Managing holiday stress, balancing finances, family, and festivities. We hope you learned
So
something
join the
tonight. And
conversation,
see
let's
you
take
Tuesday. See you
time.
next week. Next week we're going
It's a
all 3 days.
podcast where
So see you
love
guys
is
next
what
week.
knows.
Thanks, panelists. And that concludes the end of our show tonight. Have a good night, everyone.